Hello, I'm Larissa. Welcome to Goblins of Discord. Today I am typing Nick Fuentes. He's been requested by a bunch of people, and I was curious about him myself because I keep hearing about him. I'm largely not interested in any of this political stuff anymore. Some people who knew me a few years ago might be shocked to hear that. I was going through a goth phase, all right. Politics is dry. It's full of ugly people, just screaming ninnies. I don't fucking care. Once I solved the puzzle of how this reality works and how this pertains to me, I moved on. Um, it's all for show, darlings. If you want to learn about manifestation, what you focus on expands, and I don't want this reality to expand. It's the most unappealing reality. So, Nick Fuentes. Is he a six? Is he a three? Is he a six? Is he a three? I back and forth. So we'll be going into that. If you want to get typed by me, you can book below. Introvert typings or over Zoom. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to get from these photos. He looks kind of chatty, three-ish in some of these, and then in other ones, he has like that six. Guys, I looked at his face. But then he's also got the nine-ish, like, oh, oh me. Yeah, so the kind of like internal monologue I was having was he seems too assertive to just be a six, like a 6'9" 3, for example. Uh, but he doesn't not seem nine fixed to me. I couldn't make him be a Karen, like a 6'1" 3, and a 6'8" 3 was out of the question for me, like compared to Alex Jones, who I type as 6'8" 3, which is like unhinged gorilla. Like everybody look at the problem, like the warrior archetype, and then versus the Karen archetype, I put Ben Shapiro as a Karen, as like a 6'1" 3, just to compare him to Nick Fuentes. And I'll obviously play a video in a second. He seems nine fixed to me. He's kind of got like little brother energy, like yappy little brother, but it's not quite six either. He seems like I don't want to say a pick me, but he's definitely striving and he's definitely working working towards something. All right. I don't even know what I have pulled up here. Okay, wait. Fuck. Here was where I could see some three wing four burns actually. So
What is your dating life?
I don't have a dating life.
So you don't date.
No,
Do you have a perspective about who you want to marry? Do you intend to get married?
I do. I do intend to get married and have kids.
So where are you at on that?
I'm trying to get prepared for that mentally.
What does that mean? You're 26 years old.
I like my life. I like being single. I like.
so here's where I'm just gonna like where I'm seeing kind of triple attachment for him. It's like the fact that he even feels like he has to justify it and that he has to like move towards this to me seems like an attachment type problem. Like the more attachment in your type, the more you're gonna like take on the values of whatever like tribe you sort of assign yourself to, or conservative, liberal, your fucking religion, your town thing, your family thing, whatever. And it's like he doesn't if he doesn't want to get married. He's allegedly some kind of virgin. He might be a closeted gay. I'm not really sure. But the fact that he has to like this comes up a lot where it's like who are you gonna marry? Nick Fuentes, when are you getting married? You're gonna have kids? Oh, sure. But it's like, who cares? Don't have kids. Don't get married. Raw dog some dudes. Like, do whatever the fuck you want. But to me, it seems like this kind of attachment thing of like having to justify why you're not fitting the mold, even though he's clearly pushing against the mold. In some ways, it's like he wants to be in the mold, and this could be points for him being a three over a six, for example. Like the six might be more inclined to get their little family unit going earlier. Not that he like I don't know how old he is. 26, she said. He's like a baby. So it's like why would he have fucking kids and a wife? Like he's young, have fun. But being a three, like a career minded three, that's going to be top of mind. So is that points for him being self-preservation social over social self-pres? I'm not sure, to be honest. I lean social self-pres for him, just because he's so fixated on like social topics, but sometimes self-pres socials can be like that. So I soft type him social self-pres at this moment. Okay, where was I going with this?
being a guy. I like what I like. I like reading books. I like doing my
This is a little self-prezi. It's sort of like I like having my own space and my own independence, and I don't really want to have to deal with people. So there's a bit of self-pres socially skew in here. But I also think he's probably six wing five fix, nine wing eight fix. So he'd be three wing four with six wing five with nine wing eight. So he'd have like withdrawn, reactive, the sort of like grizzled, miserable swirl of types there with like the four rose emoji misery. Six wing five is like grumpy, grand-eyed. Get off my lawn. That took my gerb. And nine wing eight is also kind of a grumpier, more boundaried in the gut center.
my show. I'm a pretty antisocial person, and it's a big adjustment for a man to go from having a life where you can do whatever you want, go wherever you want, unaccountable, everything like that, to then you have to be roommates with women and children.
You have to be roommates with women and children. I mean, that's a bit of a sexual last. But also, it might be like him being secretly gay. I don't know. Like, if that's how he views what it's going to be like, it's like, well, you probably don't want to really be with a woman then. Why do you have to have kids? Anyways, I don't even know why I'm making these points.
It's a totally different lifestyle. And for someone like myself, I'm a pretty
But again, this is an attachment thing of like, this is the assumption of what it will be like. It's like, why don't you just create your own relationship ecosystem? You know?
eccentric and, kind of
I'm eccentric. I'm out there.
out there person. I don't have a regular sleep schedule.
I don't have a regular sleep. I mean, I don't personally find him eccentric or particularly out there from what I've seen, but this could be like his wings talking. Do you know what I mean? Like his four, his five, his eight. It's like I'm not like other conservative pundits or whatever they're called. I don't sleep on a regular schedule. I'm wild.
I'm awake all night. I'm asleep all day. And my
Also nine figs maybe.
sleep schedule's moving around all the time. I like to go out on drives all the time. The idea of like, my wife sending me out the door, okay, be home by 10, call me and tell me where you're going. Or, I go on a trip. I got to get the car seats and buy all the plane tickets.
Yeah, and this is like nine concerns. I really don't think he's a nine core, but this is a lot of nine concerns. Like having your autonomy hijacked just from being in a relationship. It's like I'm gonna have to do all these things. Whereas like an eight fix or a one fix would just be like assuming the role of like how the relationship's gonna go is gonna be whatever they set the pace at. Whereas a nine fix and a nine would be more like, I'm gonna have to like cede ground to this person. I'm gonna have to give away autonomy. I'm gonna have to answer to this person instead of them designing the relationship to fit their needs, And also I think an attachment thing generally as well.
Stuff like that. It's kind of cramping my style, so I'm trying to get over that, I guess. But that's
And maybe the cramping my style thing could be more of a like image type thing, loosely.
maturing.
Yeah, I think you should
But then
probably.
he's like giving up also, like, well, but I'll entertain it. So,
Probably mature on that point. I mean,
but like also who is she to say that? Like you have to mature on that point? I don't know why this is making me irritated.
what?
Yeah, I know. You got to tell me. I know.
I want to go for drives. Like that would be something. I mean, if you are, do you attend the mass?
I do.
Like, do you go every Sunday?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so you're like a committed Catholic. Then obviously, like the perspectives on family. I mean, I personally, and this would be me lecturing, but I just feel like you really have no idea who you are until you start a family, and whether that
That's not true at all.
means just marriage. Some people who are
But
struggling.
again, that could be like an attachment perspective, super ego perspective. So like 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. It's like, who am I without my like tribe, without my good deed, without feeling like I'm being needed or like contributing in some way? But it's like a lie that you're telling yourself because like how is that contributing? You're not contributing anything. You're just making yourself feel secure.
To have children, okay, fine, but there's such a growth that happens because of that I think it informs your beliefs in so many ways, and I think that was a huge turning point for me. Like I wonder if I
Like almost this like attachment superego kind of justification of like we're all doing this and it's some valuable thing that we came here to learn. It's like, this is a simulation, bitches. Like, you design your own reality. You get to have the experience you want to have. You don't have to have the 2.5 kids picket fence experience if you don't fucking want to have that experience.
Been pressed with everything that happened last year. If I didn't have like the unshaken faith in my family, what would I have done? And sometimes when I see the things that you say, I do think, okay, he doesn't take into account family. It's just,
And this is like, I haven't tried to type Candace Owens. She obviously has 6 and 1 in her type, I think. But it's like that projection of like, this is the right way to do things. And I know that this is the right way to do things. And so you should be doing things this way too. And like, um, yeah, she's some kind of Karen. But they can get really triggered when other people are not falling into line how they're falling into line, where it's like, well, you're supposed to do that. We're all supposed to do that. It's like, you're just making up these rules and projecting them onto everybody else.
Nick is in his own world, which can be, I think, a quite selfish perspective, which is fine. That's what
I'm not getting, you know what? The Karens trigger me, and this is why I can tell he's not one fix because Nick Fuentes doesn't trigger me at all. But it's like, it's not like, first of all, there's nothing wrong with being selfish, selfish, me-ish. I'm me oriented. That's amazing. Why wouldn't you be me oriented? You're the bomb, right? You're the main character of your own show. And if you want to make other people the main character because maybe you're not that interesting of a character, I guess I can get with that. Yeah, make them the main character, but it's not selfish in a bad way to be, I'm the main character. Fuck y'all.
what you're saying. You like being selfish is another way to say what you just said. I like being selfish and I don't want to give of myself to somebody else. But
Well,
do you,
But why do you have to give of yourself? Like, that sounds like rape, is what that sounds like to me. Anyway.
also think there's something selfless involved, which is to say, I could go and start a family and drag them into a world of mine, which is pretty chaotic.
Yeah, and he's like still playing the attachment game, but I think he's not being browbeat into doing what he doesn't want to do, which I think speaks more to 3 for me, where he's sort of like finding justifications for, he's still in the attachment game, but he's not really in the attachment game. He's kind of doing the 3-4 thing of like special exception, but in the attachment realm. I don't know if I'm reaching with this, but
I mean, is this really the kind of a lifestyle? If I'm banned on everything and I can't make a living, I'm banned from banking, I'm banned from credit card processing, I'm getting doxxed, people are showing up to my house trying to kill me, things like that. And what's more, I mean, let's also get, I also don't appreciate the lecture. You don't know me, so.
yeah, well, that's what Karens do. They like to lecture. um, but yeah, he's kind of getting snarky with her a little bit, but he doesn't seem like he's doing it in the 6 way of like, 6 being a reactive type. I mean, he is pretty yappy in some like debates and stuff, but he's sort of just dealing with it like, you don't know me, lady. Like, you're, oh, here's where I could see the 3 and 4 stuff. You're older than me. You're
I know you're married, I know you're older than me, but you don't know me, you don't know my life, you don't know my situation. I don't think you're in a position to give me advice, especially as a woman, honestly.
Look at his face.
I don't think women, this is something in the right wing. We say we're anti-feminist, and then women go around telling men what to do. We're not their husbands. And, I don't really buy into that ideologically, but that's besides the point. My life has been tumultuous from the very beginning. From the time I turned 18, people were coming for my neck and trying to get me, and I was kicked out of college. And then, once you're branded as an anti-Semite, before it became cool or popular.
There's a little 3-4 right there. It's like, because this sort of is like a 3-4 6-9, like wing 4 6-9 alter ego, like woe is me tale, like sort of like I'm the outsider, I was rejected from society, but he's kind of like turned it into his brand, like he's made it his little empire. It's not like the 6 thing of like having to pull in support to make themselves feel safe and like get people rallied around them, like, or get people on their side. It's like he's just kind of doing his thing, and like he's getting banned, he's getting deplatformed, he's getting debanked or going, despite all of these things that are probably image hits to him constantly, but they're also probably reinforcing his like ego on some level, because it's kind of like that Kanye West arc that he has where he's like keeps doing stuff to get himself almost pushed on the edges, but he's still more successful than everybody else. So but he's like, I don't know, maybe Aphex, but Nick Fuentes is like kind of doing a version of that too, where he's like, I'm on the outside, but I'm more successful than everybody else. So I'm trying to think if like, does social feel like a bigger threat to him, or does self-pres feel like a bigger threat to him? Maybe self-pres. He might be self-pres social.
Can't get a job, can't make a living, get banned from PayPal, all this kind of stuff. That's a very difficult environment to try to have a dating life. What do? I go out on Tinder, I go to a bar, and I say, hey, I'm a neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes that the ADL is writing articles about every day. I'm going to start a dating profile on Tinder. People are going to screenshot that, mess with me in all kinds of ways. It's a very difficult predicament, actually.
And this is very six head concerns. Like he's already sort of like forecasting the worst case scenario and like how he's gonna get blamed. It's gonna come back to bite him. He's gonna get betrayed. Da da da. But again, like I just don't think he's six core. He's not like anxiety riddled enough or tribal oriented enough. I made some points, but I still will watch more still here. But it's like he's doing the three adaptation thing, but he's also inflexible in many ways. Like he's sort of like dug his heels in. Also points for Nine Wing Aphex over Nine Wing One maybe, but it's like he sort of picked his way of existing, and he's going to try to make things work for it. I think he's a bit of a clout chaser though, so I think he does adapt in the three-ish way, but it also is like he's figured out his brand, and he's, I think, trying to just build off that brand.
For me, because I took on basically a huge sacrifice at the beginning, and I don't know that you really appreciate that enough. I think that you're somebody who, you had a career in politics for as long as I was fighting a battle. You were at Daily Wire with the contract. You're at Turning Point. You're
yeah. So this to me feels again more like image digs, kind of like he's sort of being like dismissive, but he's doing it in this sort of like nine fixed sort of like hee like I'm saying something naughty kind of way. It's like he's not trying to like argue his point aggressively and like dominate her. He's just sort of like snarkily, smugly, and kind of dismissing her achievements too on some level, because it's like he's kind of like, like I'm gonna like maybe some wing four stuff, like I'm a real one, I was like getting after it while you're in bed with the enemy maybe.
Making good money, you're doing book deals, you're part of this thing that I'm criticizing and paying a very heavy price for at a time when no one's saying those things.
I'm different than you. I said it first. I did it before it was cool.
When it's very unpopular. And it's not to say that I'm a victim, because I did it willingly and I love it and I would do it again.
Yeah, and threes don't see themselves as victims or want to see themselves as victims unless they can spin that victim narrative to some career success pivot, and then they'll do it. Or to get out of something that they feel shamed about, where it's like, oh, I did this thing and I have to blame the other person now, like it's their fault. I've been on the receiving end of that, which can seem kind of six-ish. But sixes are more likely, like sixes can be more self-victimizing, although they might also be like afraid of being called a coward or something. But six with a nine fix, like you're gonna have it baked into your personality type that there's like a victim narrative playing out.
Yeah, but it is to say,
but not like the three kind where like you rise from the ashes and you make it like part of your lore, like you're like. And yet, I rose above my haters, my trash haters, because I'm better than them.
That, you and I have lived very different lives. And, it's easy, I think, for you to say you had your husband, have your kids, you got your ducks in a row, made quite a bit of money, then you discovered the truth. And then you went out on a limb. And it's not to say you didn't make sacrifices and it wasn't.
Again, this is like 3 wing 4 plus 6. Like he's calling into question her authenticity. You could say this is more six-ish actually, because he's like calling her a hypocrite or like you're not a real one, but
a risk, and it paid off. You're doing great now, and I congratulate you. With me, there was no calculation. I mean,
look at her face.
I almost want to say I was 17. What's your excuse?
Yeah, Yeah, this seems like very like three wing four plus six. I lean six wing five for him over six wing seven. He's very serious. Um, I don't know, and he also seems I don't know, just more six wing five ish. I don't have any good points for it really. Um,
17 and I woke up and I went balls to the wall.
yeah, he has like ego identification around like it's like part of his image. It's not like the six thing of like I saw it and now we all have to see it together to feel safe. Like you even get like Alex Jones, for example, who's like one of the OG, I don't know where he is on the spectrum now. I have a feeling not anywhere good, but um, who was pointing out the truth and all of this stuff, but he would always and he would sometimes be like, I mean, I said it first, but he was always like couching it like, but also like this person and like we're all a team and it's all thanks to my viewers, even though he has like an eight fix. So Nick Fuentes is more like it's feeding his like image, like I figured it out. Like it's kind of feeding his his self-image.
Bucket of ice cold water, as you say. I made a lot of enemies, and maybe that wasn't wise. But I told the truth and I took on extremely heavy cost for my personal life. It basically has made it so that I can't have a personal life. I don't even have many friends. Forget about, dating women. I can't even really have a lot of male friends because there's such an incentive to betray me.
I mean, that could be also six wing five stuff too. Like kind of like the paranoid. I mean, I think he's probably right to be paranoid because I don't know that world of politics is a viper's nest. So
Because there are people that are being paid to attack me all the time on Twitter or for information about me, things like that. So, it's something like everything else that I'm figuring out one step at a time, just like my show. And, when I get banned from something, whether or not I'll be able to have a family and kids and what that'll look like. But I mean, it's a little more complicated, I think, than maybe you understand.
Look, you just got
maybe you understand as a woman.
super triggered by me just saying something so casual. What was that about?
That's not true. That's not true. And that's how you can tell six versus not six. Like he was just kind of saying his bit.
See, I don't
Like,
appreciate
you're a woman.
that.
You're like, you're a woman. Man, just like I was just having a conversation with you, just being like, hey, like you there's a lot of growth.
Well, this is what sixes do, right? If she's a six, I'm not sure, but she's like provoking him on purpose she's trying to trigger him as a reactive type. She might be a reactive type because they do like to get under your skin, right?
It comes from when you start a family. Like that's like it's a pretty cool thing to do. And I feel like you got pretty triggered there and got like.
Yeah, but she's also trying to, this is another six thing. She's trying to sell him on dogma. Like she's like, it's pretty cool to start a family. It's like she's trying to bully him or like, it's like, why don't you have a family yet, Nick? Like, what's it to her? Like, it's so fucking bizarre. It's like probably some weird six projection of fear of like, we all have to have marriage and kids, otherwise, like, it could get really crazy. My husband might cheat on me, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, who knows where they go with that, right?
A little upset. I don't know what I did there.
I don't like that you say triggered.
Well, you were a little bit.
I'm being candid.
Yeah, no, I don't think he was triggered. It's funny to me because, okay, so Russell Brand is probably a sexual seven or a sexual second seven. And, and there are rumors that Nick is in the closet. I don't know if they're true or not. I do find him cute, so maybe he is gay. I have a type. But I can tell like what Russell's doing. He's purposely showing up fucking naked to like probably titillate Nick. To throw him off, to give him a boner while he's doing this interview just because he can.
To Nick Fuentes. I'm joined by Nick Fuentes. Hello, Nick.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on here today. I suppose the main
You can see his demeanor is kind of different in this one, probably because he knows that Russell Brand's not going to like attack him like Candace Owens.
things that I'll want to talk about is our mutual and shared love of our Savior Jesus. If it's okay with you, I want to talk about some people.
Yeah, because now Russell Brand's like I don't know, super churchy because he got me too. And so now he's like seven. He might be one fix actually, but now he's like trying to atone for his for his rapey past, or I don't know what he did. I really don't fucking care.
You is that you're very, very overt and passionate. Gets thrown into the maelstrom of our culture, whether it's Cracker Barrel changing its logo or things that are more impactful and significant. It's so divisive and utilized, and I felt a little bit exhausted by it. How do you feel? Like, do you think that like Charlie Kirk is almost a Princess Diana moment of like a sort of in some places unearned sentimentality, in other places very real grief, in other places exploitation, in other places more division? Does this feel to you as objectively as you can be to be a sort of a significant moment, an epochal moment even? And do you feel emboldened by it,
Stop talking.
encouraged in some way by the response, or does it make you feel kind of exhausted?
Well, it's always difficult to say so soon after it happens, because in the moment it feels like the biggest thing, and it seems that the world will never be the same. But of course, we've seen a lot of things like that over the years, and we hardly even remember them years later. I think about like the pandemic as an example. Some days I wake up, you forget that even happened. And that was such a, and obviously
not a 6. There's the tell right there. The pandemic, it's like it didn't even happen. Sometimes I check in on 6s I used to be friends with to see if they're okay. Many of them have not recovered, especially not the self-present and social self-present ones. They're still on that tip. God, make it end.
they had ripple effects, but do they have a grip on us sentimentally years later? Not as much, but I do think it is a truly significant moment in politics. I think that for political people, especially for young people, I think it is going to have a chain reaction. And the question is whether that's going to be good or bad. I think this is part of a larger trend of political violence on the left. And usually I'm not that guy. I'm not the right-left guy. I try to be a little bit more...
Actually, self-pres social makes sense for him because he's not... It's like he's kind of catty, but he's not social self-pres 3 and 4 catty, which I find way more entertaining.
Profound than the partisan kind of thing.
He's kind of like I said before, like kind of like little brother, like he's like boy next door sort of achiever, you know?
But of course, it draws obvious comparisons to the Luigi Mangione shooting, to the Trump shooting last year, and as well to the school shootings by many similar individuals, whether they're trans.
And also, you can see him changing his outfits. I don't want to look for it, but I found some other video where he was like on a podcast with like 20 black people, and he showed up in a hoodie.
Or whether they're other kinds of extremists, weird spirituality kind of stuff. So I think what people are saying about this, maybe the big picture on all of it, is what is happening to the young people online and with politics. And this is kind of like it's like a violent assertion of the nihilism that we see on the internet in the real world. This is something that is like unseen. A lot of older people don't understand it. But there's something really wrong here. And so I think this is maybe a visible and profound expression of it where it entered the real world. Maybe that's going to be the legacy here.
I think that's an excellent assessment. Yes, something that we've all become accustomed to online, vitriol, invective, somehow safely contained within the screen, a kind of like methadone rage that's not going to really hurt anyone except for maybe you feel.
Yeah, and if you just even compare the way that each of them expresses each other, it's like you can kind of tell that like Russell's got 7, he's got sexual, he's like ramping it up, he's like giving some drama. Vitriol, he's like, I don't know, trying to add like language that makes it more interesting. And Nick Fuentes is like sort of doing this self-pres social 369 thing.
Feelings if you read too much of it.
He's like being more pragmatic and like,
has now had real life consequences. I would agree. Now, how do you connect it to what seems to be a broader trend that online media pundits, commentators, influencers, and activists, a category that would include to varying degrees?
I don't know if there are any like political speaker. I mean, I guess Russell Brand would be one of them that have sexual in their type. That would they probably have like way more charisma, although I don't know if they have bigger following. Look at his little grouchy face. I don't think he's a 6'5" though. He doesn't seem he I guess if I look at like fear driven versus he because he doesn't seem I feel like 6'5"s he would be way more paranoid based on what's happened to him um like it would probably shut him down. Like he would probably be more likely to withdraw or something instead of like leaning in, and he does like all of these like media circuit tours and he's constantly tweeting and stuff. I feel like if he was like a 6'5", like all of these like death threats and everything else that happens to him wouldn't necessarily feed him. There's tons of sixes out there in the political circuit. I mean, I don't know if Charlie Kirk's a six or not. I haven't tried to type him at all, but who I guess like still are under threat of being killed, that still do it, but they seem to like kind of show up with their like squad or like um wife and their kids. They got their team, they got this thing behind them and they got that thing behind them, and he's like more of a lone wolf. I think there are still lone wolf 6'5" out there that do stuff on the internet, but he kind of does it so brazenly that I just don't. And I think like with a sort of brand focus where it's like the Nick Fuentes character is sort of what he's putting.
Talk about what Trump should do, but also what is the way out of this? Because I'm like pissed at Trump, and then I look over there and I'm like, literal shark tank of piranhas ready to eat me in the country, and I'm actually deer in the headlights at this point because I'm just like, I mean, this is a nightmare scenario.
I agree. I mean, we feel stuck. I don't feel stuck because a year ago, I was saying that we would sort of end up in a similar predicament. And
no, man, let me stop you again. I'll give you 10 minutes. I said it before you came on. I said, listen, I have guests on that are consistently right. You can disagree with overall your views or whatever, but you've been dead on. So
yeah, and this is sort of an overlap I think that six does have with like 3-4 space where like sixes have like the I told you so thing, but I mean I think that can also be wing 5 influence too on his head center, where it's kind of like I knew it first, I'm smarter than you, but it's also like he kind of like makes sure to like bring it up, like it's part of this kind of 3 wing 4 thing I think potentially, like where he's sort of highlighting that he got there first, where it's almost like versus like I'm right and you were wrong, if that makes sense. I pulled the alarm bell, nobody listened. I was crying in the town center and you guys all abandoned me and left me, but like I was right, see, I was right. It's more just like, well, I did it first. Like it's kind of like more the assertive thing.
Fourth star is who's the most accurate, that's what I want. So you did predict all this, which makes me physically ill. So what?
You liked that.
Oh, Nick Fuentes. What is going to happen, and then what do we do?
And he's also just more composed generally, like than you see like sixes in interviews. I mean, I know you can find other ones of him where he's like, whatever, but for the most part, the stuff that I watched anyways, he's pretty composed.
it's hard to say what is going to happen next because, I was going to say we are in a way stuck. We are stuck with Trump for the next 4 years. And when I say stuck, I mean, whether you think it's good or bad, he's the president and he's in this incontestable position. That was sort of the aspect of it that was very concerning to me, which is that
also, I think it's like harder for core sixes to flip on authority figures. And this is just one piece of data, but like when sixes, I feel like because he was like very pro-Trump before, from what I understand, and then he kind of just was like calling out Trump bullshit, but sixes get way more emotionally invested in it, where it's like this cognitive dissonance collapse happens where it's like like either they reject it and they double down, no, you got it wrong, man, he can't be this way, or they can get into this like the bad man, and then they like rage. Like, I mean, you see it in the Enneagram groups all the time. These fucking sixes, they join the groups. I shit on sixes a lot. I'm sorry. They get it, they join the groups, they squeeze information out, and then they turn on whoever the authority figure is and like accuse them of being a cult leader. It's like the same fucking thing all the time. And obviously six fixers can do that too, but six cores get way more emotionally like psychotic about it, and they try to get other people on board with them, like smear campaigns and like, I'm making a documentary. And
If you have Kamala Harris, she has no legitimacy. So a lot of people like to think, well,
Kamala Harris, that's another image burn, I think. She has no legitimacy. It's like dismissive, dismissed. This person's unimportant. I mean, he's right. She's like a puppet. I mean, they all are, but whatever.
Kamala won, what would that have looked like? Obviously, it would not have been as good. The economy wouldn't be as good. The border wouldn't have been as good, and that's obvious. But what was less concerning to me about Kamala against all of that is that she was a lot less stable. And not by that, I don't mean mentally. I mean that she had no legitimacy as a ruler.
This is the 314 gold mine.
Mother, shut the f up and go home and play with your kids. We're conservative. We're in favor of traditional gender roles. Let's act like it. And your place is not wagging your finger. You do that to your kids. That's about it. So unattractive and not ladylike. She is not a lady at all. That woman is a thug. That woman is an ignoramus. I didn't even like Charlie Kirk. And I took a day off and came back the next day and really did nothing other than call for peace. This letter comes out. It blows. Seriously, you switched up 5 different times in your life. You're suing people for racism. Then you're doxing conservatives. Now you're leading the black side of the Democrat Party. Now you're an anti-Semite.
What a 6? Is the 6 over 3? Oh, I don't know.
And they have always outraged, never ashamed. That's Candace Owens. Always outraged, never ashamed. Always bobbing her head. No, you don't say that. Oh, I'm
always outraged, never ashamed. I mean, that could be a 3 burn against the 6, to be honest. Like 3's as a shame type. But what is this?
Candace Owens. I'm cocky. What is with that cocky attitude?
I do want to say this, though. I think there's this misconception that all 3s are like hot, like these supermodels. And that's not the case. You're looking at fixes, instincts, genealogy, heredity. I don't know, whatever the words are. That someone, whatever someone's skin cells or whatever results from the union of the sperm and the ovum. Like, there's also that.
Dude, so unattractive too as a woman. So
unattractive too as a woman. I mean, this is like image type burns a little bit.
Unattractive. That's the best. She's trying to be
just assertive type burns, like
the spokesperson for femininity and being a trad wife or something. She's the most cocky bitch I've ever seen in my life. Who the f wants that?
And you know what? 3 guys, I have noticed this. 3 guys can get really triggered by assertive women. It's kind of funny.
Going around wagging her finger. Oh no, you didn't. Oh no, you can't say that to me. Oh, just who the f do you think you are? You want to be a mother? Shut the f up and go home and play with your kids.
I'm trying to think of how this differs from like Alex Jones. Right? Alex Jones. The thing is, like, he's sort of. I mean, this is arguable. This is contestable. Alex Jones is sort of just like, going for broke with the elaborate melodramatic head type, just fear explosions. And I feel like what Nick Fuentes is more doing is attacking her image than anything else. He's like kind of calling into question her worth, her value, her beauty, her role, her status. Like, it's not really 6 burns that are more like, she's a bad person, she's a hypocrite. I mean, he did kind of call her a hypocrite a little bit, but it's like 6 burns are more like, and this is reductive of course, but it's more like, you're bad, you're doing the wrong thing, you're inaccurate, this is inaccurate. I've been attacked by so many sixes. I'm trying to just like conjure all the various things that this is wrong. You shouldn't do that. This is like against the rules. But it's like not that, but it's like a version of that where it's like you're not allowed to do that. Like this kind of stuff. And I think like he's doing kind of like he seems like an unhinged six in the sense that he's kind of like, eh. But it's kind of like three focus burns. We'll just keep watching though.
We love mothers. We love women. Get out of politics. Get out of politics. And I said
Yeah, this is kind of three dismissive stuff. Like, you're just a woman. But he's probably threatened by her too. So, and she probably made him feel small in the interview. And so now he hates her. He wants to hate fuck her. She's the bad she's the bad mommy. Maybe if he's not secretly gay, maybe he wants to fuck Candace Owens. Yeah.
about her before.
I don't know, but I know. You know? I don't know, but I know.
Look, I'm a grown man.
I mean, that's a little bit of a sixth thing right there.
I'm a grown man. And I don't need a woman telling me what to do, what to think, telling me what's up, wagging her finger in my face. I don't need that in my daily life. I don't need that from some conservative woman in politics. You're not my wife. You're not my girlfriend. You're not my mom. Where do you get off talking to people like that?
But maybe he wants that. He wants the mother girlfriend experience. Check out the video that I have about to drop on type threes with my friend Christine that we actually recorded like a month ago.
It's ridiculous. Where's the femininity? Like, we just got to be
Where's
done
the femininity? Again, this is more like image burns, I think.
with that. We're conservative. We're in favor of traditional gender roles. Let's act like it. I know a lot of people don't like to hear people talk like that, but women need to be put in their place. You want men to lead. You want men to take responsibility. You want men to have leadership and authority. Then you need to respect when a man puts you in your place. And your place is not wagging your finger, doing whatever it is you think you're doing, telling people what's up. You do that to your kids. That's about it. I don't know where the narcissism is off the charts. So cocky, so arrogant.
My favorite is when a three calls somebody a narcissist.
Again, so narcissistic, so unattractive, and
because it's not the six. What a narcissist! It's like it's so unattractive to be such a narcissist, which is a narcissist framing.
not ladylike. She is not a lady at all. That woman is a thug. That woman is an ignorant.
Oh my God. I kind of want to see if there's more rants now.
Dude, it is a pro-Israel. What are you talking about? What do you think Turning Point is? Do you think this was the Institute for Historical Research? Was this the Charles Martel Society? Is this Stormfront? Iron March? This is Turning Point USA. It is a pro-Israel advocacy group. What are you talking about? Were you born yesterday? You guys, that's the part I can't get over. So you're skeptical about Kirk being killed by Israel. Now his wife is taking over. Watch Turning Point become pro-Israel. Dude, they were Zog headquarters. He's coaching Lord Netanyahu on how to America.
You know what? He is way more interesting solo. So I don't know what that means actually about his type. But he's doing these like kind of like unhinged six rants, but he's not self-deprecating ever. I mean, he sort of does acquiesce like, well, yeah, sure, I should do, la la la. But he's like kind of going on these like unhinged rants, but I think that they're designed likely to get him to go to amplify his signal, and it's more of like I'm going to do what Alex Jones does because I'll get more viewers that way. I don't know that it feels like an actual six rant per se, but I don't know if I'm just trying to make my own, prove my own point. So I'm going to watch a little bit more just because this is actually funny.
What propaganda? What are you talking about? If Turning Point wasn't a pro-Israel outfit, what is a pro-Israel outfit, huh? That's crazy. To the extent, look, Erica Kirk is a spook. I've seen enough. Erica Kirk
is a plant. We
Yeah,
all know
she
that.
is.
That is
I mean, it's pretty obvious, and I don't even pay attention to this shit anymore.
fact. That is basically established. She was shopping around for a political husband. God knows where she comes from. She found one in Charlie Kirk. Do you think Charlie Kirk is the Riz master? He's not a good looking guy. Dude, you know what she said
Again, he's like just putting people down for their looks.
on a podcast? I saw a clip of her on a podcast and she said, I can't focus with him in the room because I'm just going to be looking at him. Now that's some good acting. Now you had me. Then I saw that clip. You know, maybe you had me when she did the first speech next to his chair. When I saw that clip and she said, I'm not going to be able to focus with him in the room. He's too handsome. It's like, now that's some bad acting.
I kind of love Nick Fuentes now. I kind of get it now. He's like a charming little devil. He's like such a little weasel. Like a little narcissistic weasel. Maybe he is social self-pres. Why is he so anti-charisma on interviews, but he's so like turned on solo? I wonder if that does speak to him being a 3 though, because it's like he's got the floor and he can just kind of like dominate and like do what he wants on the floor, but in like a room, 3s are a little bit more strategic, especially if they're 9 fixed, so they can sort of like fade a little bit more until they have like, you know, they feel more confident in their what they're capable of like holding, and he does back down a little bit when there's 8 or 1 fixed people actually. So from what I've seen, but like I said, I haven't watched much. This is funny though.
Now that is some serious, that is a serious acting job. So I think she's a plant, obviously. But does that mean that they took him out to put her in? Not necessarily. I think that it's a political marriage. She's an operative. He's an operative. He happened to be killed. She's going to take over his responsibilities. It is what it is. I agree. I think
again, more 3 than 6. This objective, this perspective. It is what it is. They're all just actors. Who cares?
she is not who she says she is, because there's all these clips coming out. She's in a music video. She's on these reality TV shows. I'm hearing she dated other people in the conservative movement. It's like, why is it that that's always the background? Alex Clark was on a reality show. Now she's doing a Turning Point show. Charlie Kirk's wife was on a reality show in a music video. Now she's a Turning Point. It's almost like you have these women, or people in general, but especially women, who are with a talent agency or they're with some agency. They'll do anything to be famous. They'll do anything to get in front of the spotlight. And then they find themselves marrying these like conservative guys or doing conservative political shows.
Very rich conservative.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. I don't want to hear this guy's opinion.
Then she started a company doxing people for being racist. Then she became the spokesperson of Blexit. So what is with all these conservative women that they'll do anything to be famous? They stumble into conservative politics, and then they marry into political royalty. Candace marries George Farmer. Erica.
I mean, you can argue that this is sick stuff. He's sniffing out the truth. He's like spotting the lies. But I think it's also like just him being like an image type, being able to see what games other people are playing, like for their advantage. I'm sure that like when I post this, there will be a lot of people who are like, "No, Nick Fuentes is a 6." Sure, whatever. I'm typing him as a 3. Yeah.
Marries Charlie Kirk. That's what's suspicious about all this. Charlie Kirk was a shill. Doesn't deserve to die, but that's what he was. His wife was put with him in an arranged marriage. That could not be more obvious. With each passing day, you know, for 1 week, nobody wanted to say it. Then the memorial, people questioned the fireworks. Then they kept pushing, and people started to say, all right, you know what? Go Ducks? Really? You see that? Then we start seeing the clips. Then we start finding out the parents' background, her background. Now people are saying, all right, enough. If she want to be the widow, whatever. But she seizes control of the group. They start pushing her everywhere, and that's what it is. It's a calculated political break.
Yeah, he's kind of like, he sort of frames everything through the chessboard of like the chess pieces moving around. It's not necessarily like he's doing a bit of 6 stuff with like, you know, like they work for Israel or whatever. But he's like more kind of like questioning their sort of agenda, the sort of image three-ish agenda is what he seems like more fixated on in a lot of his attacks, where he's like it's kind of like all image centered.
Breakout moment. All right, well, now you need to be scrutinized, and people are finding it to be very clear what she represents. Yeah,
and he's also, the way he's presenting it is very like, I'm just saying, like, she's this, she's probably this. I don't actually care, but sixes get, especially 6'3". So he would be a six, if he was a six, he would be 6'3", 9, 6'3", 1, or 8, right? He would be way more like, we have to do something about this, people, like the way Alex Jones gets, or like Ben Shapiro or whoever, where they get like really triggered about people agreeing with them, and like, where do we all stand on this? And like, we all have to get, or like even Candace Owens, like in those interviews, it's like, we all have to be on the same page. He's more just like flippantly tossing out accusations. And like, it's very clear. I mean, she's clearly like a bad actress. Like, yeah, it does feel three-ish to me in social second. So he just doesn't fucking care, probably.
Fully on board that train at this point. People made it out like they were, it's so ridiculous. They made it out like this was a couple that was converting to Catholicism. Okay. They said she's a traditional Catholic. He was converting. He was on the verge of turning against Israel. We found out none of that is true. She's an apostate. She was Catholic, became non-denominational. He was not going to convert at all. He was non-denominational too. They were not turning against Israel at all. We don't know who she is. She took over from him. That's who these people are. That's what they were then. That's what they are now. Is it tragic that he died? Absolutely. It's terrifying that there's going to be more political violence. I hope that's not the case, but let's just be so for real. Let's be so honest about what happened. Now that the dust has settled, we could be a little bit more direct here.
And I completely
I hate that I'm doing what this guy's doing. It's gross. Sometimes I hate that I do this. Why do I make these videos?
and this Owens though.
What did she say? What's the quote? I gotta pull it up. Who's got the clip? Dude, that was crazy. I didn't even think it was that hot though at all. Candace Owens, crazy clip. What is it? Well, how can I even find this if I just search Candace Owens? What's wrong with you, Mom? That's what she says. Candace Owens freak.
Ask those questions. You don't get to ask those questions.
He wants to hate
What's
fuck her
wrong
so
with you,
bad.
Mom? Are you so scared?
Ugh. Oh, man. People were saying that's hot. I don't think that's hot. I think it's just kind of, she's like pretending to be crazy. Real crazy would be hot. She's like pretending to be crazy, and she just comes across like retarded to me. Let's play it again.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Are you so scared?
No, 6'1s are crazy. You're wrong. Also, what he's doing is like making fun of her image again. It's not like the six stuff.
Oh man,
This is like also wing four-ish stuff to me too. It's just like it's just snobby, mocking people, like elitist. You know what I mean? Like, look at this person.
See this like 100 times in the past few days. Oh jeez. She's lost it, man. She is full-blown Looney Tunes. Does she even know what's going on anymore? One day it's the Israel, then it's the feds, then it's an inside job.
Then that's what sixes are doing.
It's Dairy Queen, then it's the Society of Bee Worshippers, then it's Brigitte Macron. Like, bro, take your medication. That's crazy. She needs to get 5150. And I know that's like a sensitive subject because we're mutual friends of Ye. When you're crazy,
Wait, I don't know what that
sometimes
means,
you just need the help.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Are you so scared?
I
Bro,
think
what is
he's totally beat off to that. He probably plays that while he's lying in bed. This took an unexpectedly joyful turn. Okay. Nick Fuentes, wing 4, 6, wing 5, 9, wing 8, I think. So he's a changeling. Wing 4, 6, 9, sad sack. I didn't even really talk about that too much, but his alter ego, sad sack, pain piggy. So he's like I said, he's like kind of turned his like it's sort of like how Kanye like turned his brand, being the outsider, the struggle, like, but he has like an 8 fix, like he's probably 3 wing 4, 6, 8. The persecuted, turning it into like his brand, but he rises anyways. He's God. So, but he's got like all that 8 melodrama going on, and Nick Fuentes just has a bedraggled 9 gut to like drag. He has to drag it everywhere. But he still has like his own little victim narrative, but he's triumphant despite the victim, despite the victim narrative. And he needs that victim narrative. It's part of his lore because of his type. And his shadow type would be 4, 5, 8, which, what do I call that? Necro dancer? I need to come up with a better name for that one. But nobody is even that type. Who even is that? Who even is a 4, 5, 8? I don't know. Like nobody. So I'll come up with I have to find a person who fits actually that type. Actually, I can think of one person who might be that type. Celebrity, not somebody I know. Anyway. Okay, bye.